Five, four, three, two, one. We have ignition. Strap in. You're listening to Hit.OR.DIE Live. Here's your host, HIT.OR.DIE and Chad Crawford.
Hey everybody, welcome to Hit.OR.DIE Live with your host HIT.OR.DIE and Chad Rothford. Going live again. We've been doing a lot lately, but we're trying to keep you guys up to date with everything that's going on. You know how we like to do everything first, so everybody else can jock us, which is, I guess, is that what flattering is? Like, people do what you do. It's like supposed to be flattering.
Yeah, I would consider that a form of flattery.
I guess, unless you suck at it.
That would be true too.
Which we don't, but they might. Again, go follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and on YouTube. Subscribe. The challenge is still going. We are finally over 400 subscribers. 600 away from me getting a tattoo. So
do you think that?
No, it's never going to happen. And Thumb Pro, go to baseballthumbguard.com, hit in the code HIT.OR.DIE for 15% off your thumb guard for Thumb Pro. And big news, the playoffs, baseball playoffs are happening. But yeah, do you want to get to some of the other stuff first?
Well, we kind of mentioned we'd bring up the dogs. And I knew it was going to be a tough game. Hawaii's always tough. And, tough loss on Saturday night. I was a little bummed.
I was asleep. It was late. I was asleep. I had to work in the morning. But when I saw they lost, it was like, I don't know. I don't know what to think. And everybody's like, oh, you're not really a Bulldog fan. I'm a diehard Bulldog fan. You guys don't understand how frustrating it was that I didn't get to go there. But this seems like what they do.
You've seen this story before.
Even when David Carr was there and they beat Oregon State,
they went and beat.
All they had to do was beat Boise in the last game, and they didn't do it. It just seems like, I don't know. It just seems like this is Fresno State, and I'm not saying I won't support them or anything like that. I think out of every single podcast out there, we support Fresno State athletics more than anybody. But it just seems like they win the big game that they need to win or they shouldn't win, but then the ones that they should win, something happens.
I mean, they know. they know.
I mean, you're up 24-10 with 9 minutes to go in the fourth, and you're still passing, three and out. You got one of the, you have the most touchdowns scoring running back in the history of Fresno State. Give him the rock, run out the clock.
You have two good running backs.
Mims gets he doesn't get enough credit for how good he is. And for him to, sit behind Ronnie Rivers and get by his time. And I think they're both the same age. So they've been there together this whole time. He's never been the premier back, and he's actually really good. Ronnie Rivers is obviously good, but I think they just, with how good their receiving core is and how good Hainer is, they kind of just want to keep going that way rather than, just run the ball, mix it up a little bit. But again, I didn't really watch it.
I mean, 6 turnovers is it's pretty bad. 2 fumbles, 4 picks.
It's like having 6 errors in a baseball game. You're not going to win that game.
Probably not. I mean, they were still within 3 points of tying with an opportunity to win late. And they were down there. I mean, a ball off the hands that turned into a pick to end it. And then I think I saw that 10 penalties for 120 yards doesn't help. But yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. Late in the game, 9 minutes. I think, Rivers had a decent run on like a first down for like 12. And then the next play was the fumble, as a sack fumble, and Hawaii went down and scored. And then the next possession, 3 and out. And it's like Hawaii got in a rhythm and our defense was on the field. And I would have liked to seen them maybe use the clock more and run and, up 2 scores. But again, Coach DeBoer gave an interview regarding the game, talking about doing what they do. And he kind of said, Ronnie Rivers is a part of what we do, and maybe we should have done that. But, he also said some really good things too. I'm going to screw the quote up, but he just mentioned there's a pit in the team's stomach, and they can't let Hawaii beat them twice. So they can't carry this over into Wyoming in 2 weeks, which I thought was great. And, it's good to feel that hurt. He said, it's good for them to feel this hurt because they care. They want to win. They want, they want the fan base to show out, and they should continue to show out.
Yeah.
In a loss like that, I think the team needs the Red Wave more now than they've needed them all year, not just, UCLA. Mm-hmm. So you got to stay with your team, and there's all their goals are still in front of them. They can still win the Mountain West and make it a good bowl game. And so that's what we need to try to go do. Nothing changes. They do have a rough couple weeks or 4 or 5 weeks ahead of them. So stick with the Dogs. They're bye week this week, and then at Wyoming in 2 weeks, the 16th of October. So stick with the Dogs, and because they're going to need it, man. Like I said, there's a tough road ahead with just some of the teams and matchups they got. But go Dogs, man. It's football. Mm-hmm. It's college for their kids. You know what I mean? It's bound to happen. It can happen to anybody. I mean, I saw Arkansas, number 8 team in the country, get shut out.
Yeah.
So can happen to anybody.
They weren't playing Hawaii though.
Did you watch Brady last night?
I watched I watched some of it. I didn't watch all the game, but
I guess the ratings were outstanding.
I'm sure they were.
22 million as of right now.
Yeah.
The adjusted rate, they're talking like 30 million maybe.
And for him to break the record in, where it all started, Foxborough, was kind of cool to watch. There wasn't really a ceremony or anything.
That little tribute
Breeze was there.
The tribute video they put out. Nice dub. It was kind of a boring game. The weather sucked.
Yeah.
But the Buccaneers get the W late. 19-17, I think, was the final. So Brady the GOAT. That conversation that happens every year. Do you even care?
There's no question. You can't. There's no argument. No argument for how old he is doing what he's doing. I mean, I saw somebody the other day. They're like, Brady, they put a video game roster out, and they were like showing the players that Brady was playing with it against. And it was like Patrick Surtain, his son's now in the league. Like all these things, like the guys he was playing with, like the rookie year and stuff. Like Byron Leftwich it wasn't his rookie year. It was like, he was like 10 years in or something. And Byron Leftwich was a rookie, but now he's his offensive coordinator. And like, it was just showing all the guys that he's played with in the league that now are way younger, but are in like coaching positions, or their kids are now in the league. And it's he's still in the league and like playing at a high level. It's not like he's just Tom Brady, handing the ball off, 30, 40 times a game. Like, no, he's throwing 40 times a game. He's, still, doing just as good, if not better as, his prime's never run out. It seems like, you know what I mean? Like he's still an elite quarterback.
Still can win.
It's proven.
Yeah. He's got weapons. He's got good players around him. You give a good
He didn't even have Gronk yesterday.
Yeah, he didn't. And he looks like he's going to be out for a little while. Cracked ribs. I think a punctured lung. So he might be down for a few weeks, but didn't have him last night on the road. Wet environment, still got a W. So, but yeah, it's Brady back in New England. That's pretty cool. I knew that was going to get good ratings for sure. And I watched pretty much the second half. But leading into baseball, right? We can't get into the playoffs or the end of the MLB Sunday, if you will, without congratulating Dylan Lee on getting his debut in with the Atlanta Braves, going an inning, a shutout, getting a double play, and then a strikeout. I think he got in on a Saturday night.
Yeah, pitched again.
And 2 strikeouts, did give up 2 runs, triple to Lindor, and Conforto took him deep. But he's a big leaguer.
Hey, it happens.
Yeah, it happens.
Might as well get it out of the way now.
Get it over with. No, that's awesome, man. It's congratulations to him, Dinuba, Fresno State family, the COS family. So cool to see. Such a good guys. Worked so hard as all the guys. And there's a lot of minor leaguer guys that are from the area that are close. So again, we root for all of them. And but congrats to Dylan. He does have a camp coming up in Dinuba in November. Again, go to our page, his page. All the dates and information is available there. But MLB Sunday came down in the American League to 4 teams, really. Or, well, in the East, 4 teams. Tampa Bay's in. And then you had the Yankees, Toronto, and Boston.
And Seattle, right?
Well, Seattle is in there. Yeah, they had to win. I think they were in the same situation as Toronto. They needed the Yankees to lose as well as the Red Sox being a game back, which would have been crazy because if one of the I don't know what happened if both would have lost.
There would have been a play-in.
I know there's a play-in game, but had the Mariners won and the Yankees Red Sox lost, you have 2 play-in games?
No, because
the Mariners won. If the Mariners would have won, would you have had 2 play-in games?
No, because weren't the Yankees ahead by 1?
The Yankees and the Red Sox were dead even, and they were ahead of Toronto and Seattle by 1. Had they had lost, they'd all been.
So okay, hold on. So do we have a playoff game, a play-in game for the division title?
No. Division was already won by Tampa. You mean a plan for the wild card?
No, you're right. Okay, I got.
So had the Red Sox not come back and won,
they still both would have been.
They would have played Tampa or Toronto. I'm sorry, Toronto and Boston would have played today for a play-in.
Yeah,
and the Yankees would have been that final.
So you're saying if there's a 3-way tie?
Yes, there have been 2 play-in games, I think.
I don't know.
Either way, Boston finds a way to rally back. Devers goes deep in the 9th to put them ahead. It looks like you saw Zimmerman's last game with Washington.
Mm-hmm.
They said they'd have him back. That's what the broadcast said in 2022. A lot of years. He got a World Series out of the deal, though.
He did.
And then you had, Toronto smash Baltimore and just sitting there waiting. They show Vlad's reaction to Devers' home run and obviously dejected, but I mean, like the American League East is they just beat up on each other all year.
Well, I mean, the Yankees had a walk-off too. Judge hit a walk-off to win.
Had that ball not hit the mound, do you think there's a play at the plate?
Nah.
You don't think so? I think so. I think that it's closer play at the plate. If that ball doesn't ricochet off the mound like it did, because it killed the momentum of the ball. Yeah. So it was right at him. Gio's play also, this is incredible. One of the best plays of the year, taking that foul ball. I mean, the distance he traveled and to take it.
He went straight into the locker room.
Incredible play. But, you got the Yankees now going to Boston, and obviously it's not Sale.
It's Eovaldi and Cole.
I mean, so who do you like in that matchup?
They put their numbers up against each other, and they're almost pretty even with Eovaldi's numbers against the Yankees and Cole's numbers against the Red Sox. I just and they both kind of have momentum, coming off really good wins to end the season. I don't know. I like the Yankees better all around, I guess. I'm gonna have to go the Yankees.
I'm going Yankees as well. No hate to the Red Sox, although my cousin is probably gonna hear this and have his choice words. We had choice words yesterday, and it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
He can call me. It was Alex, by the way. Remember Alex? It looks like the Astros are your team to make a run. We haven't put the picks out yet.
No.
But why the Astros?
Steady Eddie, man. They're just consistent. And 4 division titles in the last 5 years. They just win. They have good players. Dusty Baker is obviously a tremendous manager. 5 division titles with 5 different teams is absolutely ridiculous. Hall of Fame manager already. And they're hot too, man. They're hot right now too. And they've been actually quiet, like there hasn't been a lot of talk about them this year. Surprisingly, negative or positive, there hasn't really been a lot of talk. So I'm just gonna, the team's a veteran team now. I'm just gonna go with them, dude. I like Bregman a lot. He's one of my favorite players to watch. Yuli's raking, Correa's raking. Altuve's Altuve. He's going to be fine. Brantley's raking. I mean, come on. It's hard not to kind of go for them unless you just really don't like them because.
I mean, a lot of people really don't like them.
Oh, and then
for their reasons, as you all know.
Yeah. But I'm going with them all the way to the World Series.
It's not a bad pick. It's not a bad pick. Well, and you don't have them winning the World Series, though.
I don't.
So we'll get into that in a little bit. But again, you talk about this is why I love baseball too. You get into stats, right? And I've had this conversation with a good buddy of mine, Coxie, if you're listening. He was talking about run production. And Houston scored the most runs in Major League Baseball this year. They're number 1. And Seattle was 22nd out of 30. And it came down to Sunday. Mm-hmm. So you have the 22nd ranked team in runs scored with a shot to make the postseason. I think that's why baseball is great. You also think it shows how bad baseball is.
Yes. I think it's bad. I think baseball is bad.
Define what you say, because when people hear bad, I don't know what they're
just how the game is played. I think the fundamental aspect of baseball is no longer there in the big leagues, which makes it tough to coach the fundamentals of baseball because it's just not seen in the big league game. I feel like there's way too many strikeouts. There's not enough balls put in play.
But does that contribute to how good pitching is?
The pitching's good.
I'm just being.
But you're a big leaguer. The guys are still putting up power numbers, but if they would go with more of a contact, and not everybody, not everybody needs to go with a contact approach, but there's guys out there that hit for high average. Look at Vlad, hitting for power and average with the ribbies. He's a complete hitter. And when you watch his routine in the cages, there's not one ball he pulls and there's not one ball he hits in the top of the cage. Everything he does is a line drive, middle the other way in the back net. Why do you ask? Because he's hitting the cage and he's trying to get his swing consistent on plane as possible. That transitions into what he's been doing in big league baseball. Right now, all these kids want to just go for launch angle. And we've said it so many times. It's launch angle and hit the ball in the top of the net. And what does that do? That does nothing for you. Why don't you try hitting a ball through the second baseman or through the shortstop and as hard as you can? And I feel like that's what Vlad tries to do. He tries to hit the ball as hard as he can through the right center field. Obviously he pulls the baseball really well, but he also hits the ball the other way really well. So, but I just think baseball all around isn't as good as it used to be.
I think the fundamental part, I think you're right.
The fundamental part for sure. It brings you a testament to see, look what the Giants did, right? With a bunch of nobodies and 4 veterans that are, besides Crawford having a great year, I think, Belt, whatever, he's consistently okay. Posey's old and kind of not washed up, but he's still a good player. He's not the Buster Posey that he used to be. But then you have a bunch of guys that are no-name guys. It was almost like a AAA team playing in the big leagues, but they also had the most wins in franchise records. So is that a testament to how good they were as a team, or is that a testament to how bad baseball is? Because, in the American League East, you had 4 teams over with 90 wins that you were talking about. And I just don't know if that baseball the Giants play will play in the East. I'm not sure they have 107
Well,
wins.
and that's, the NL East or NL West came down to Sunday. Dodgers and Giants. Giants rolled San Diego and the Dodgers rolled Milwaukee. Kind of no brainers there watching those games. You kind of saw early how they were going to finish up. Congrats to the Giants. Again, you're right. It's a lot of no-name guys, AAA type team, but then also some guys that have been around that have pitched in big games. You had Alex Wood pitch really well. Their bullpen was really good. They're good. They're not a bad team.
No,
but my thought after hearing everybody, I've heard and seen tweets and stuff out there regarding how good the NL West is, and 107 wins is a lot. 106 wins is a lot. But do they win the AL East? No. Do the Dodgers win the AL East? I don't think so. Do they finish second in the AL East?
I mean, you're playing those teams. You're pretty much playing your league, 60 times? No, not 60 times. About 20, about 30 maybe.
I'm not even sure the number. But
20 to 30 times you're playing your own.
The East had 4 teams with 90-plus wins. They beat up on each other. It all came down to Sunday. And I feel like the weather they deal with, it's different baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Where the West wasn't very good. I think the run differential, even with San Diego, was like a plus 20. It wasn't much.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to discredit them. They're not bad teams, but I don't know if the West deserves the praise that the best division in baseball. I don't know about that.
No.
I've seen it. That's why I kind of question that.
No, I mean, I think the AL East is still the best division in baseball, especially now with Tampa being Tampa. It was the Yankees and Red Sox. That was it. That was all the AL East was. Now Tampa, and freaking look at what the Blue Jays did. You have 4 teams that just absolutely beat up on each other. And even though the Orioles did their 0.0 shit and didn't get in the playoffs, they still down the stretch got hot at times and still beat up on, the AL East teams. So, yeah, I don't know if you put the Dodgers and the Giants in that league and they get beat up like they do. They're in the top 2 or 3.
Well, you put one of those teams on the West Coast and you play in this weather all year. You know what I mean? Like it's a different thing. It's a different ball game out here. And not to say that they're not good. I just don't feel like they are even a second place team in the East.
Yeah.
And that might get, some people
of course it will,
pissed off, but that's
an opinion.
Yeah.
And it's just how you feel.
I'm not a giant hater. I'm not.
No. I'm not. I mean, I'm whatever. I'm not a giant hater either. I just don't feel like it's almost like a miracle what the hell they did. I'm just waiting for, okay, is this luck going to go all the way through the World Series or when's this luck going to roll out or, stop? Because it's just, I mean, if you would have taken this team at the beginning of the year and be like, yeah, this team's going to have 107 wins, there would have been a 0.0 chance that anybody would say yes to that.
100% agree with that. even the hardcore Giant fan would probably have said you're crazy.
Like if you say this team right here on paper, look at these guys. They're going to have the most wins in franchise history. More than 2010, 2012, 2014, more than those teams. More than the 2000 Giants with Bonds, Kent, Dunston, Snow. I mean, Benji Molina, those guys. No fucking way.
No, I'm
look what they did. And you know what? The reason why the Giants probably played that good is because maybe they did play a little baseball. Maybe they are the type of players that, I know La Stella went 0 for 4 one game with 2 ribbies. And he got the guy over from second base twice, and he had a guy on third and 2 and ground ball. He went 0 for 4 with 2 ribbies. Maybe they have a bunch of team players. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe they are a team and they're playing like a team and not a bunch of individuals. Maybe that's how baseball should be played still.
And again,
which I think so.
And you go back to that stat of, run differential. I think the Dodgers outscored the Giants this year. So again, it's a stat, right? And it's recorded and that's a good thing. And they scored a lot of runs. It doesn't ultimately mean you're the best team.
Well, scoring runs doesn't always equate to wins.
Right.
Because the other team has to score less runs than you. So if you score a lot of runs, but you give up a lot of runs, so
I just thought it was an interesting thought.
It's a valid argument.
It's not knocking the Giants. While I don't like, their road, and I think you have ultimately the Milwaukee Brewers winning the whole thing.
I do. For some reason that might change. I haven't put it out there yet. That might change, but I don't know. I just feel like the Brewers pitching staff is just, I don't think Atlanta's can beat them. I just don't. Even though what they've done, what Riley's done with Freeman and their guys, they still don't have Acuna. I just don't know. But then again, I don't know if the Brewers offense is going to be able to back up their pitching staff. I love Craig Counsell. I love what he's done in Milwaukee. 4 straight.
And they tend to get overlooked.
Yeah, they do.
I don't think anybody that I saw last night on MLB Network had picked them to win.
No. And with the Dodgers, I just don't know if they can beat the Cardinals one game.
They seem to struggle at times with the Cardinals in the past, but Scherzer on the mound. I like that. In LA, I'm taking the Dodgers to win, at least that game. I think it's interesting how it matches up with the Giants moving forward, because and not that they would bring Scherzer back for a game 5 if necessary, but now he's only pitching one game for sure. And you take Kershaw out of the mix now. He'd come out, elbow issues, and Muncy's out of the lineup. They're loaded. I don't know how. I mean, Muncy's a big deal.
Are they loaded though?
I think so.
They're name loaded.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I mean, look at the statistics this year. They haven't been as good as they have in the past. And I'm not saying they're not good players. And they still won 106 games. But you don't have the MVP type numbers that you've had in the past. Bellinger's under 200. Seager's steady, but he's not, what he did last year.
Well, you got a 20-game winner in Urias.
Yeah. And Bueller's good.
Pitched really well with Scherzer in that mix. I mean, they're in a 3-game, in a 5-game, or best of 5.
They have a good shot.
Really good shot. Without Kershaw, you look at a best of 7. You kind of scratch your head. You're gonna have to work your bullpen, and you got to do that twice to win a World Series. Really, 2 7-game series potentially. So I get where you're going with Milwaukee as far as bullpen goes, and that's not a bad pick either. So I like Atlanta.
That's your team.
That's my team. I didn't roll with them last year because I wasn't trying to be biased, but I'm going to roll with the Braves this year. And
that's going to be a good series.
It is. They're all going to be like I texted you before we started today. We do our picks. We put ourselves out there every year, and we put our picks into who's going to win.
Yeah.
And last year was brutal. It was bad, but I don't even know where to start. Really.
It was tough. It took me a while to pick teams, and I was just trying to. It's just hard to try to go with matchups, and I was trying to just pick hot teams.
And I did that last year, and it bit me.
It does, because playoff baseball is just different. Any game could go any way.
I will say I liked, and I've said this in the past, the 3-game wild card series needed to stay.
Yes.
I and I've heard that from other friends of mine. I don't know what the majority of people out there think about it. But a 1-game playoff, I mean, it's the way or a wild card it's been what it is what it is. That's what it's always been. But last year, I really liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too. And then I also liked last year. I mean, they obviously played at venues.
Yeah, neutral sites.
But there were no days off. I really liked that because that really showed how in-depth your team is. Which that's obviously not going to happen this year. But
but that was a grinding playoff last year.
The 2 for 3 or the 2 out of 3 needed to stay for the wild card. It just makes it more exciting. Plus, it makes those teams also show their depth because now they're coming off a 2 out of 3 and they got to go play.
You look at the
number 1 seed,
Major League Baseball, and the money aspect of that. You're not going to sell out 3 games if you have 3.
No, you are.
And you're going to get the TV,
especially
the
Boston,
viewership,
Boston
and
Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, there's some revenue that you're leaving on the table. I think not doing a 3-game series.
No, I agree.
So well, yours is done. You did your bracket already.
Yeah, I did it, but I don't know if I'm going to keep it as we talk. And
go back on. Okay, all fair.
I haven't put it out there yet.
Yeah,
once I put it out, then it's done.
There's no going backwards. I have yet to do it yet. I've looked at it a handful of times. I'm not sold on. I like the Braves in the first round there, but I don't know, man. With Tampa and depending on who they play, it's tough. If you've got a bracket or you've got you want to roll out with this and join us, please do.
Send them to us. We'll put them out there for you.
We'll do it. We definitely want people involved. It's fun to see everybody's picks. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there.
But I also think, even though I picked the Astros against the White Sox, do they win 3 straight and have to sit and wait for that Tampa series to get over? That could go 5. Because isn't the first round the best of 5? Or are they best of 7 now?
The divisional series is best of 5.
So that could be kind of telling too. The Astros have to wait around for that series to end. I don't know. I don't think the White Sox have enough.
I mean, they've got some starting pitching as well. And they can swing the bat a little bit. The division was tough this year. It was a struggle.
It was tough as in bad.
It was bad. It was a rough year. But still, it's a good team.
Yeah. I mean, and it's big league baseball, but
because and I'm going backwards, but when you hear the NL West talk, people were saying, oh, well, the White Sox would have been 13, 14 games back of the NL West.
And you're exactly right.
You're right.
That's why I think you should just have the best records no matter what. The top, 6, go. Best records. You still get division winners, but you just don't get to go to the playoffs. Then you have 4 teams from the East and the Astros.
Basically.
But why aren't they deserving of it? We just talked about them beating each other up, and they still have 4 of the best records in baseball. So,
well, the format is the format. So
I know
nobody, and that I'm not saying they're not deserving, but the format's the format. I kind of what you're going on through there is a little interesting.
Who do you want to see the best teams in baseball play in the playoff, or do you want to see an 80-game division winner?
But minus who? Right, you sub the White Sox for maybe Toronto. Who else is? I mean, I think the playoffs. There's some good teams in there.
I don't know how many wins did the Braves end up with.
What was it? I had it written down. Now you go to a question that I'm not prepared for.
Sorry, I went off
script for me there. Roth 88. I thought it was 89. 88 wins. See, I'm glad I didn't say 89. I would have been wrong. 88 wins.
Yeah.
But so what you're saying, but you're talking about American League. You're just talking about across Major League Baseball.
Yeah. No, American and National.
Okay. So
you're not going to have
still splitting them
up.
You're
not going to have 12 American League teams. Okay. You're still going to have American and National. But I just feel like, I don't know, just take the best records in baseball, throw them in there and get after it.
I wouldn't sleep on the White Sox.
I'm not sleeping on them. I'm just not picking them.
Well, because, You want to see the Astros win just so you can gloat.
No, I mean, I like the Astros though. I liked them before the cheating thing. Like I liked watching them and their players and stuff. So, but with everything coming out, it's not like they're the only ones that did anything. So I don't care. I don't care because, you know, there are way more teams doing what they were doing. Maybe not to the extent that they did it. You know,
so, and tomorrow's the wild card. So we have to get these brackets done tonight.
Yeah.
Shit. I still don't know. I don't even know where to start. It's going to be fun.
Well, no, you start with the Cardinals Dodgers because you said the Dodgers would win. So you start there.
Dodgers,
then you said the Braves were going to win. So you went there. What do you mean you don't know where to start?
Well, I mean, again, okay, I'm stuck. Now I'm stuck.
Well, who's going to win? The Dodgers or the Giants?
Oh, my God. I think I just threw up in my mouth. The Dodgers.
Well, and you picked the Yankees to win Boston.
Yes. But again, I'm stuck. After that wild card, I'm stuck for the divisional series.
For the American League.
All right. If I have to pick, I'd have to pick Houston.
Okay. Now
you're the White Sox.
Yankees, Tampa.
Boom.
It's done.
And I'm going to take Tampa over Astros. Houston.
Okay. Tampa's in the World Series. Atlanta, Giants, Dodgers.
Dodgers.
Okay. Atlanta, Dodgers.
Atlanta.
There's your World Series. Atlanta against Tampa. Atlanta and Tampa. You're gonna go Atlanta because those are your.
I have to. If my team is in the World Series, I have to take them.
Yeah. You just did your bracket. There you go.
Yeah. Well, you didn't do that. You get to go back and change yours now.
Okay, I won't change mine. How about that?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. I'm just kidding. I have to roll with my team. If they get there, how do you not take them?
Yeah, you're gonna be like, yeah, wait, no, my bracket says Tampa, so I'm gonna root for Tampa. No, you're gonna root for the damn Atlanta Braves.
Getting into the Braves, right? And we've the last 3 episodes we've done this. We've talked MVP. The regular season is over. So now the numbers are on the table. There is no more wondering, guessing, hypotheticals, what if, blah, 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 blah. It's done. Season's over. Stats are in. Let's start with the American League. And I think it comes down to 3 for me. The final 3 were Guerrero, Ohtani, and Perez. Old Salvador Perez. And Simeon's there. I look at his team and I'm on the thought process of if I had
Vlad's better.
Vlad is the guy I'm taking out of the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
And I think if people go back or go look at Perez's stats, and again, I know the Royals were bad. What he did this year on a bad team in his position, catching, his numbers are ridiculous. He was 3rd in games played with 161, 7th in at-bats, 26th in runs, tied for 1st in home runs. He was 1st in RBIs, 27th in batting average at 273, 52nd in OBP, and then he was top 5th in slugging, 16th in OPS. Again, 620 at-bats in 161 games, I think means something when you look at that stat line. Any response?
No, because the guy above is better.
The guy above Ohtani?
No, above.
The very top?
I wouldn't even have put Ohtani in this.
Explain yourself, because a lot of people disagree with you.
He's top 10.
The writers love him. Love him. Everything
because it's a great story. No shit, they like him. If you're going to write about somebody in the big leagues, why wouldn't you pick Ohtani to write about?
Yes, I agree 100%. I'm with you. I'm telling
There's something
you
to write about.
What I'm telling you
game.
is you and I are both agree. Vlad is the guy. I'm
100%. 100%.
Everything I see written right now is about Ohtani and the breakdown of his season. And it is phenomenal. what he's done is great. He's a stud. The guy is a freak. He's an outstanding baseball player.
Yes. Superstar. And he will be.
But I don't think he's the MVP.
No. You can't have 3 top 10 categories. I don't know.
It's home runs and runs. Those are the only offensive categories he's in the top 10.
5th in on base percentage, 2nd in slugging and OPS.
Yeah, there you go. But he's behind Vlad. He's 2nd to Vlad.
And he's 35th in at bats.
And I mean, games for him. I don't know how many games Vlad DH'd.
I wouldn't think a lot, to be honest.
Right. So Ohtani's DHing, and yes, he is pitching. I think he had 22 starts this year, is what I read. So Vlad played 161 games. 2nd in the American League.
Yep.
He had the 10th most at-bats. 1st in runs, 2nd in hits, almost 190 hits. Ohtani was 41st in hits with almost 140. Granted, Vlad's got a lot more at-bats, but I think, again, that means something because he smoked Ohtani in batting average. It's not even close.
Not even close.
I mean, you're talking 60 points in batting average. 1st in slugging, 1st in OBP, 1st in OPS, 5th in RBIs, 3rd in average. For me, American League MVP, without question, is going to go to Vlad Guerrero Jr.
So Vlad DH'd in 28 games.
Out of 161.
He played first base for 133 and third base for 1.
I mean, that's got to equate. And not only Toronto, it came down to the last day.
Yeah.
So we're talking again about value. You talk about value. And again, Ohtani did all these great things. And listen, while he's not in the top 10 in a lot of stuff, even pitching wise, it's incredible.
But give him comeback player of the year.
Sure. Absolutely.
He's got to do more for me offensively or pitching. Like the MVPs that were pitchers had well over 20 wins. Their ERA was in the top 5. Their strikeouts were in the top 5. Their innings pitched was in the top 5. Their wins were number 1, number 2. I mean, it's just none of his stuff. If you're just looking at Ohtani and if you look at his offensive numbers and don't know that he's a pitcher too, you'd be like, he hit home runs. Got 100 ribbies. That's good.
Okay, so he hit for power. But Vlad hit more home runs.
Yeah, Vlad hit for power and average.
And I understand.
And was first in runs scored as a first baseman. He scored the most runs in the AL.
But he didn't pitch. I mean, so Vlad was just a DH though?
No.
I'm saying if. Ohtani pitched in 22 games.
Yeah.
And then DH the rest.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he didn't pitch well. Again, we said this last time, where nobody is taking anything away from Ohtani or his season, but value, right? The most valuable player. I mean, are the Toronto Blue Jays playing for a wild card spot on the last day of the season without Vlad Jr.?
No.
And the Angels aren't making the playoffs with Ohtani. And without Ohtani, they're even worse probably. And I know people are going to say, well, Ohtani didn't have Trout and Rendon. And again, we talked about this last time, but the what if stuff doesn't matter. The numbers are the numbers, and Ohtani didn't have Trout. So there is no what if there. He didn't have him. So let's not even talk about it because Trout wasn't there. He didn't have Rendon. So let's not even bring it up because Rendon wasn't there. There's nothing to talk about. No what ifs. They weren't there. These numbers are real. And again, Ohtani had a great season. It's awesome to watch. No question about it. But the best player in the American League, the most valuable player, is Vlad Guerrero. And I don't know. We don't know who's going to win that, but
it'll probably be Ohtani.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. If the riders have anything to do with it, which they do.
And again, if there's people want to push back, please push back. Please send us a message. Please, whatever, comment somewhere. We're down to talk about it. I just feel like it's Vlad.
So Ohtani played in 126 games. He DH'd plus 23 pitching. So that's 149. 7 games in the outfield. But I don't know if those came after pitching or not. I'm not sure because he only played 8 innings in the outfield. And it was 7 in right and 1 inning in left field. So I'm not sure if those were complete games. Obviously, they weren't because, the innings. So he's still 20 plus games behind Vlad playing even. And as a DH, I know you pitch, but shouldn't you be in there as a DH?
I mean, your body's in 161 games. And that's why what Perez did is very impressive as a catcher.
Yeah.
And to still produce. Pretty awesome. So I think we both agree. And I mean, most of the people I've talked to are in that camp as Vlad's the guy. The National League is where I think my eyes kind of flipped or opened up to some different options. And after yesterday, looking at it again more last night, I felt like, there's going to be some new candidates for the NL. What?
So Salvador. He caught 124 games.
Okay. So he did DH a little bit.
40.
Okay.
But still, he still played in all but one game. So I agree with you. Being toughness, it's hard to do at the catching position. Sorry, I just want to say.
No, you're good. You're good. That's good to know. I mean, that's good. I mean, he didn't catch 161 games.
Yeah.
I don't want to present that as fact.
Yeah, because we both thought that.
So still impressive.
Very.
Again, as Simeon too. I don't want to discredit his year. There's a lot of guys that had good years. Bichette had a good year. But to me, Vlad's the guy. The National League's where it got interesting. And I wanted so bad to add some guys to the discussion. And then you just go break down their numbers and they're just not there. But when it comes to their ball club, so Brandon Crawford is a guy that I felt like, man, what a season. What an awesome year. And you break down his numbers and you talk about value. If Brandon Crawford isn't on the Giants or, are where they are without Brandon Crawford?
No, probably not.
And I agree with that. I don't think. And so it's he brought a certain amount of value to his team. But as far as the National League goes across the board, numbers wise, not quite, not there. But I mean, still an impressive year that deserves some credit and a shout out, no doubt. And I'm a fan of his anyways. So, but I wanted so bad for him to be in that discussion. Same with Trey Turner, because I feel like Trey Turner gets overlooked, especially the last 2 years with what he's done. And again, this year with leading the league in batting, or I'm thinking leading Major League Baseball in batting average. But you pull him out of the lineup. Are the Dodgers still, are the Dodgers where they are without Trey Turner? And my answer is yeah, probably. So did he bring that same value? No. So it kind of, I kind of lose it there as far as MVP goes for Trey Turner. So then that leaves my 4, right? And so the 3 suspects that everybody kind of talks about has been Bryce Harper. Philly's not in the playoffs. Juan Soto, not in the playoffs. Which again is not the end all be all criteria for winning an MVP. Fernando Tatis, not in the playoffs. And then I go look at Austin Riley. And yes, I'm a Braves fan. And I took all that out in my decision. I looked at numbers. And again, value to your team. The Braves are in the playoffs. And I asked myself, without Austin Riley, are the Braves in the playoffs? Are the Braves where they are? And I kind of, no, I don't think they are.
I agree.
And so go look at his numbers, because I know you're a fan of Tatis. And I feel like what Tatis did in 130 games played is outstanding. But again, go look at Austin Riley. Number 1 in the National League in games played at 160. 7th in at-bats. He's tied for 16th in runs, 3rd in hits at 179 hits. And again, he had more at-bats than Tatis, Soto, and Harper. So again, that does matter, because you give those guys more at-bats, maybe their hit totals are higher. Mm-hmm. But we're not dealing in hypotheticals.
Nope.
This is how it played out. And to me, 179 hits, it's 3rd, 10th in home runs at 33, 2nd in RBIs at 107. He was 6th in batting average at 303, 13th in OBP, 8th in slugging, and 10th in OPS.
By the way, all 160 were played in the field. 156 at 3rd, 10 at 1st. 1 in the outfield. But I mean, innings wise, it's every inning he played was in the field.
And you go
DH. He didn't DH during the inner. Did we even have the?
They did. Yeah, they did.
He didn't DH. He played.
So Bryce Harper's at 141 games, 20 fewer games, roughly 42nd in games played. Soto's at 151. So 10 fewer, 9 fewer. And Tatis is at 130. He had that little stint where he got hurt. And that's why I say to hit 42 home runs and lead the NL in home runs with 130 games played is pretty impressive. To be 9th in RBIs, 7th in runs is pretty darn good. And then you go look at his OBP, his slugging. To be in 130 games, to be at the top of the league is impressive. But I feel like the 130 at-bats isn't enough to warrant, or the games played, enough to give the guy MVP.
No, and I can agree with that.
And like the value to your team. Yes, he brings a lot of value, but it is what it is. He played in 130 games.
And you kind of saw, I'm just going to say this because I'm going to, go back and forth. You kind of saw that they won't make the playoffs without him.
Agree. It's again, another fair point
with him sitting out 30 games.
But now we have to deal in absolutes.
Yes.
Right. Again, no hypotheticals here. No what ifs.
Yep.
This is how it played out. There is no arguing this stuff, because these are the numbers and this is how it ended. So looking at it for me, and I know Harper's batting average and OBP and slugging, OPS is fantastic. 36th in at bats. 12th in hits. Austin Riley and him are home runs separated by 2, but they're over 30 RBIs, 27. He's 24th in RBIs compared to 2nd. I don't know. To me, looking at it now, if I was voting, my NL MVP is Austin Riley. Change my mind for those out there. Call me a homer. Okay. I don't care.
No, that's fine. You have a valid argument. What gets me is the on-base percentage for Bryce Harper and Juan Soto. Bryce Harper walked 100 times and struck out 134 times with an on-base percentage of 429. Juan Soto walked 145 times with 93 strikeouts and is 465 on-base percentage. Those are ridiculous.
Yeah, but the Nationals got rid of everybody. They didn't have to pitch to him.
No, I know.
That's why he walks so much. Why are we going to pitch to the guy? We don't need to pitch. There's nobody.
You can't say they didn't pitch to him even 100 times. I mean, 145 walks. And I don't really like his antics and stuff. That's just, I mean, they don't have to pitch to Ohtani or they don't have to pitch to Mike Trout, but they choose to.
I mean, Ohtani hit 257.
I know, but I'm just trying to say people don't have to pitch to him. He's still, hit 313, almost 100 ribbies, almost 30 homers, second in runs scored. But I mean, that's going to happen when you're on base almost 500, 50% of the time. But Austin Riley is on a postseason team. And I know I've said it doesn't really matter, but Mike Trout's stats are normally above and beyond what anybody else is.
It doesn't.
This is close.
It's not the reason you vote for somebody MVP.
No.
But I think it helps.
It should help. If it's close like this.
I mean, we're talking about value.
If it's close like this.
This is what I'm saying.
Mike Trout's stuff is normally not close, even though he's not on a team that's in the postseason. His stats are above and beyond better than everybody else. With how tight this is, you couldn't go wrong with Harper, Soto, or Riley picking one. But then it's so close, you have to go, okay, what's the next criteria? Are they a playoff team? Okay, Riley's the only one that's a playoff team. Okay. If Riley's not on the team, are they in the playoffs? Probably not. So those are the criteria they should probably go on, which in actuality, you would give it to Austin Riley. But who is Austin Riley? Is he something to write about? Who is he?
So we have the wrong people.
Who is Austin Riley?
I get where you're coming from.
He's not Bryce Harper. He's not the hair flipping and Under Armour
if
guy.
Bryce Harper gets it, honestly.
But all three of those are valid. That's what I'm saying.
They're all legit candidates.
They're all valid.
And they're all worthy of it.
Yes.
But if I have to pick one and I take everything in consideration, I pick Austin Riley.
But is he a story?
Sure. Where'd he come from? Where did this what? Because a month ago,
he will be a story after if he wins it, but he's not a story.
He's not.
People don't hate.
He's not getting clicks
people don't
right now.
hate or love him.
Yeah, he's not getting,
when Harper goes to an opposing ballpark, they hate him. When Juan Soto goes to an opposing ballpark, they hate him. There's something to write about. The way Soto takes pitches, the way Harper is so, out there with his swag, or what would we talk about it? You said it the last episode. He just has that swag about him. Like I said, the hair flip, it's all perfect.
The stare.
You know what
Harper,
I mean? Yeah. His thing he does after home runs and the way he plays the game. Austin Riley is just a baseball player that's had a really good year, but he's probably not in the media. He probably just does his business and goes home. That's what I'm saying.
And he certainly has been in the limelight since he was 13 years old, like Harper.
Exactly. Or Juan Soto being a guy coming over from, that's what I'm saying is, who is Austin Riley? That's not fun to write about, even though he's having a great year. It's funny because I was telling you what movies are most underrated in baseball. And I said, I was watching 61 today because it was on HBO. So I recorded it. And Roger Maris reminds me of Austin Riley because they go talk a Mantle. Mantle's like Bryce Harper, dude. He's that showboat guy that wants to talk to everybody.
He's the face. He's there.
They go talk to Roger Maris, and he's like a one answer type of guy. He's all business, that type of thing. And that's what reminded me of this when we were talking about it. Austin Riley is boring. He's boring to the writers. He's boring to talk about.
I
Nobody's going to read my thing on Austin Riley. They don't want to read that. They want to read, stuff that they can make up in their heads or, try to get that's what I'm saying is that's why Austin Riley isn't getting the love that he needs. But when you put the numbers down, he could be easily a clear winner for that, but he won't be because who is he?
Well, he's got an argument.
He has a very good argument.
And I feel like if he's not the MVP, if he's not even in the top 3, something's wrong.
Yeah, but we already know something's wrong with the voting. We already know that.
Who's probably going to get it? And I think you said this last time as well. Probably Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
Which you go look at his numbers.
It's valid.
You can't. I think there's an argument now that the season's over and everything's final. The guy played in damn near every single game. And not only did he play, he had an outstanding year amongst the top 3 quote unquote candidates in Major League Baseball or the National League. The most valuable player to me is Austin Riley.
I mean, he hit over 300 too.
Yes. 303. 6th in the NL. 2nd in ribs. 3rd in hits. Again, this is what it ended with.
Yeah.
So the hypothetical questions, the what ifs.
No, these are the numbers.
You know,
I'm with you. I am. I'm with you.
And I try not to be a homer. You know this.
I do know that. But I would pick him. Looking at his numbers, like I said, there's got to be more to the criteria when it's this close. When the numbers are this close and there's categories won by each guy, it's not all one guy's most. You have to look at the other criteria. And that's when it's this close, you have to bring in the fact of a playoff team. You have to bring in the fact, is he part of that? Is he one of the reasons why they're a playoff team? And I tell you what, if you get Freddie Freeman on the phone, which we tried, he didn't answer, he would tell you that we're in the playoffs because Austin Riley. I guarantee it.
Well, yeah, you lose Acuna, and then Freeman had a slow start to the year.
Yeah.
Dansby had a slow start.
But even Austin Riley, I don't even think he was an all-star.
I think, yeah, you're right about
great second half.
You're right about Soto too.
Yeah.
And again, you can say what is Soto loses a lot of pieces. Where are the Nats at?
But again, hypotheticals.
You just can't do it. And that's why I liked talking about it the last couple of weeks, because we were seeing it develop and seeing it play out. And then last night ended and I started getting into numbers, and I just you can't avoid what Riley did.
No.
And I don't know what stats they use to measure. And I've seen the
likeness,
the WAR,
name, likeness, and
likeness is a stat definitely used, but WAR, right? Somebody brought up, I forget where I saw it, and they were talking about WAR, and Joey Gallo had a higher WAR, but hit a $199. And it was an MVP candidate, I thought. I could be wrong.
I don't know. Was it a Brian Kenny thing?
Brian, no, it wasn't.
The worst, by the way. Brian Kenny is the worst.
Well, he
knows absolutely nothing about baseball.
His stat line against the Dog last week, and I was watching, I think Friday, watching High Heat. I had to stay home with my daughter. And it was for Vlad and Ohtani. He was arguing why Ohtani is the MVP, which again, if he is, he is. So be it. But it was run expectancy and win probability. The probability, expectancy. Who cares about what you expect to know? The probability of him win? No. Did he win or not win? No, that's why are we measuring that stuff? And why would those be an argument for him being the best player in the American League? Win probability. Just stop. I think Dog kind of just put his head down. What are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm right there with you. He's something else.
So now that it's all said and done, the playoffs are set. We have our teams. You now have my bracket, which I'll put out. We'll put Chad's out later. And please put one out yourself. Send us a message or comment or wherever on the social media platforms. Let us know.
Maybe we'll put out the
we put
out the bracket out, and you guys can do it up and send it back to us.
We got another giveaway that we're going to do for a Hit or Die shirt. We got a hat from Hum Now that we're going to throw in there. I think we got some shades,
some Bevy,
some Bevy sunglass, some shades. And the Hit or Die store is going to kick off this week. So when we post the store, we're going to put the giveaway with the retweet or sharing the Hit or Die store. We're also going to post some stuff of this store that's coming out. I think you're all going to like it a lot. Some of you old school guys with your old bats, Pat Ware in mind. I don't think we did the Black Magic, but
yeah, you wanted the C-Core.
Yeah. Well,
we should have done more than one.
We probably should have done more than one, but the Hit.OR.DIE store is going to be coming out probably this week. So be ready for that. Get your brackets. Both agree on Vlad, AL MVP.
And Riley.
And you're on,
I'll take him.
You're in on Riley too?
When you break down the criteria, I'm in. There's more to it.
Yeah. Likeness, though. I like that. That's a funny stat. Let us know. Let us know if we're wrong. Chad.
Well, it's like the scouts in Moneyball. His girlfriend's real ugly, so it's confidence.
He throws the club head at the ball. Yeah. If he's a good hitter, why doesn't he hit good?
It's Fabio.
That's a classic too. But yeah, let us know. Let us know where you're at on the MVP race. If we're wrong, I don't think we are. I think we looked at it right. I'm not a homer. You can say that. But again, join us with the brackets. Keep staying with the podcast. I got to shout out Frisco, Texas. Holy cow. Like one of the biggest downloaded cities of the podcast.
Outside of California.
Outside of California. It is the biggest outside of California. But Frisco, Texas, I don't know who's there, but thank you all so much. It's crazy. And then in Dallas also, but Frisco, unreal. We appreciate it. So thank you very much. Again, get the podcast on Twitter at Hit.OR.DIE Podcast, on Instagram at Hit.OR.DIE. Go to the YouTube page. Please subscribe, leave a comment on the videos. If you have any questions for us, please send us a message. We're available. More Hit.OR.DIE stuff to come, especially as the postseason wears down. Don't stop supporting our dogs. 2 weeks at Wyoming. Be ready for that. And that is another episode of the Hit.OR.DIE Podcast. Chad, you got anything you want to close it with, my friend?
If you ain't hitting, you dying.
City College?
I don't know. No.
No?
Nothing else. We're good. I'm good. I say it all anyways at the beginning.
You get it out there?
Yeah.
Also, Facebook. Don't want to forget about that. Again, stick with the Hit.OR.DIE store. Everything coming soon. We appreciate everybody's support. And that is another episode of the Hit.OR.DIE Podcast.
Hit or die.